Dieselgate, but for trains. Some heavyweight hardware hacking. Look at that. That's like electronics. I mean, look at that. Look at the tools you got here. I think that's a Leatherman right here. I think we got a Leatherman, oscilloscope. I mean, this is intense, okay? Someone's doing some real hacking here. This is an English translation, by the way, so we may, it may not be my reading, okay? This may not actually be my reading's fault this time. A train manufactured by a Polish company suddenly broke down during maintenance. The experts were helpless. The train was fine. It just wouldn't run. Was the train fine? Isn't that like definitionally not being fine? Isn't that literally what it means to not be fine? Is to not run for a train. Anyways, in a desperate last grasp, the Dragon Sector team was called in to help, and its members were found wonders the train engineers had never dreamed of. Okay, this is great. In this story, we'll take you on an unusual journey, a journey full of unexpected discoveries and events. What is this, The Hobbit? A journey under pressure of time and money, as well as unusual technologies. A journey in which the train plays the most important role, although unfortunately it doesn't move. Sick burn. Even though it should. Fasten your train belts, or at least sit comfortably, because there are some sharp turns ahead. Okay, I like this. This is like a good soft intro. I'm feeling ready. Winning the tender, losing the service. I like a good old-fashioned tender winning. The story probably begins a little earlier, but we will enter the scene in spring 2022 when the maintainer for the first 11 Impulse 45WE trains made by Polish company Newag, operated by the Lower Stilsian Railways, ends. The maintenance is carried out by an independent train maintenance company called Sabotaged. So now I can't pronounce Polish things. Like, they know specifically. They knew it specifically, and they put it in here. Hereafter, referring to as SPS. SPS won the tender to carry out the mandatory maintenance of the trains after a distance of 1 million kilometers. The train manufacturers Newag also competed in the tender to carry out the maintenance, but the manufacturer's bid was about $750K USD higher than the tender. And the tender was eventually won by SPS, which offered to carry out the maintenance of 11 trains for around 5.5 million USD. Wow, that's ballsy. That's crazy to say you're going to, like, it's crazy to say you're going to do maintenance on a train and then say how much money you're going to do it for. That just seems wild. Like, you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. I don't know. American mind can't even comprehend this already, okay? Welcome to government contracts. Can't even understand this. I don't understand where the shotgun or the eagle goes in this situation. Very confused right now. Welcome to Trains in Europe. Maintenance of a train is a complicated affair. I would assume so. It has to be taken apart, the parts sent to various manufacturers, checked and sent back. The train put back together again and tested. The SPS carries out the maintenance procedures according to the relevant maintenance manual, some 20,000 pages provided by the manufacturer, but the train does not start after being put together. One time I took apart a pocket knife. It was extremely difficult to put back together. It was extremely difficult. They RTFM'd 20,000 pages and nothing still worked. Okay? I haven't written 20,000 pages of programming documentation in my lifetime. The computer says everything is fine. The train is ready to run, but it does not run. The inverters are not supplying voltage to the motors, and no one has any idea why this is happening. Maintenance technicians search, check, verify, consult the manuals, and they find no answers. By the way, I like the writing of this one. It feels like an old-timey mystery novel. You are about to be taken on an adventure. Like, what's it called? Not a mystery novel. It feels like the Twilight Zone. This is the train zone. You better sit down and buckle in. This is very fantastic. Everything about this is super good. All right, the mysterious breakdowns. The Lower is it Salsian? Salsian Railway has 11 impulses, and according to the schedule, another one is about to be sent for maintenance, while the first, instead of returning to work, is still sitting in the workshop. The second train is undergoing identical maintenance with identical results. Before the are we about to get some sabotage? Is that what's happening here? Is this sabotage? Is that what's happening? Before the maintenance, it was before the maintenance, it was operating. After the maintenance, it no longer wants to run. It's just a funny way to describe a train. It's just a funny way to say train. The train just doesn't want to run anymore. The work on getting the first train up and running, like the train itself, has not progressed 1 millimeter. While the manufacturer, what's a millimeter? Is that like an inch? While the manufacturer refuses to help, 2 immobile trains are already sitting in the workshop. The third misses its inspection due to battery failure, so a 4th train from the future is sent to the maintenance instead. Okay. 1 train, 3 hackers? I don't know. The maintenance company wants to take advantage of the presence to tow one of those that won't run. When the 4th running train is connected to one of the stationary ones, the running also comes to a standstill. Ooh. That is naughty. The reason for this has not yet been established. Okay, I figured, because I don't know why. So therefore, it has not been established. In addition, at another workshop in Polish town, lots of consonants followed by Essen, another impulse breaks down in very similar circumstances. It does not start up after services. Okay. Poland top hackers. At a certain point, the problem becomes serious enough to be noticed by the media. The 6 longest trains of the lower Silesian Railway out of service mean that timetables have to be reduced. Replacement trains have to be sent to the tracks, and passengers travel in overcrowded, shorter train sets. Newegg explains. Newegg. Sounds like Newegg. Explains that the trains were blocked by a safety system. But in the 20,000 pages of instructions, it is in vain to find even a mention of it. I like this. I like where this is going. This is very, very excited. A day of train downtime in the workshop costs over $1,000 and contractual penalties. And there are several trains stuck, so the tension level in the SPS is rising. Since neither the mechanics nor the electricians have a solution, someone types Polish hackers into Google and comes across an article about Dragon Sector Group's successes in the CTF arena at the top results list. SPS makes contact with Dragon Sector. What a great name. I feel like if I were to have a hacker group, I'd want like a badass name. You know what I mean? Dragon Sector. What a great name. What a great name. Whose representatives at first can't believe the proposal they hear. Train hacking? Well, why not? The parties sign a contract. Dragon Sector members Mikhail Redford Kowalczyk and Sergei Q3K. Bazinski, known for hacking Toshiba laptops, take on the projects, and Kuba Pansklaus. Dude, what is wrong with the E? There's an extra thing hanging off the E. I don't know how to say these words. Stepniewicz, who has experience in the industry automation, joins in. The team sets off briskly to work, with Kuba, ooh, I like a good Kuba film, taking a trip to the workshop. On site, they get a train that doesn't move, 2 spare computers, and a computer manufacturer's SDK files. They start the work by tapping into the CAN bus, but it's difficult to read the traffic without documentation of protocols. That would be incredibly difficult. Just seeing ones and zeros go by and be like, write that down. write that one down. We got to figure out this header first. They take a long time trying to dump the embedded software from an onboard computer. They have no documentation of the computer, and the SDK only allows uploading new software, with no option to dump existing software. As they experiment with the older version of the software, they found uploading it to the first spare computer causes it to stop responding. They are left with only one working spare computer. Eventually, they find debugging interface and download the device's memory byte by byte. Okay, this sounds like actual hackers. These people, like, they literally live in someone's basement. This is exciting. The computer is based on the tri-core architecture, classic tri-core architecture that we're all deeply familiar with. Like many similar solutions in the automotive industry, unfortunately, there is a lack of good dissemblers. So the researchers, this sounds like an Emacs definition. It's just a lack of a good text editor. So the researchers are improving Ghidra a bit and can finally look into the code. Admittedly, strings are missing, but the work is slowly moving forward. A month and a half goes by when SPS passes on the bad news. Ghidra sounds evil? It does. It does sound evil. It sounds like something that we should all be afraid of. I don't want my info downloaded by Ghidra. All right. The lower Silesian Railway, unable to wait for its trains, decides to cooperate with Newegg on the repair of broken train sets and their maintenance, including trains which, according to the original tender, were yet to be sent for maintenance at SPS. The rupture of the contract with SPS is expected to take place in a week's time. As is well known, nothing affects the intensity of work as much as very close deadlines by which the results has to be shown. So the researchers set to work with redoubled energy. In the course of their work so far, they have downloaded the memory contents of a number of computers. Both trains are working. Both trains that are working and those that should only be working. Right? Comparing these images is an ordeal. And as almost every train has a different set of functions and different version of the software. It sucks to suck, man. This is just awful. But slowly they are starting to get a feel for something. Ooh, what are you feeling? Tell me about it. Ooh, girl, what you got? What you got? They identify values in the computer's memory that are set in one train and zeroed out in another. Dang. They can run tests at their desk. The computer, even when taken out of the train, lets it run for a while before realizing it's missing the rest of the train to show whether it's ready to run the inverters. Interesting. Ooh. There is less than a day until the deadline for completion when they find the configuration for flags that gives the train a chance to run. Unfortunately, during the experiments, the last working onboard computer burns out. Yes, it burns. A capacitor burns, a rather random occurrence. After another brainstorm and many attempts to put two damaged computers into one, they managed to repair the burnt one at 2 a.m., the night before doomsday. The researchers configure a computer to start the train. One of the researchers boards the train of a different operator to arrive with the presumably working computer at the workshop just before the representatives of the lower Silesian Railway, who have announced a visit at 9:30 a.m. Unfortunately, this feels so mystery novel sounding. I know, cursed deadline. Unfortunately, the train on which the researcher travels to the maintenance company is late. You know what? As someone who is trying to fix all these broken trains, taking a train sounds crazy. I'm just saying, like, if your whole months of time have been spent researching and trying to figure out what the hell's wrong, and then you take a train. Like, it only would have been like, the cherry would have been the train in which he takes also breaks down. Just so beautiful. Eventually, in the morning, the researcher with the computer arrives at the site, connects the Pray It Works computer to the broken down train, but the train does not start. Another brainstorm identifies one flag that was forgotten, and at 8:42 the train manages to start. The lower Silesian Railway delegation, seeing at 9:30 a.m. that the train has a chance of getting back to life after all, does not break the contracts with SPS. Silesian? I'm not sure how to say it. I hope they were paid handsomely. All right, so why the trains broke down. All right, so this is the part that we're excited about. Okay. Wait, this is... Your name is Pussy the Destroyer. We are like 15 minutes in this article. And this is how you want to enter it. This is how you want to, this is like your namesake debut. This is how we're doing it. The name's Pussy Destroyer. What are we reading? Why did the train break down? Tell me. You tell me right now. Tell me about the story up to it. Anyways, figuring out how to get the train to run wasn't even half the battle. You still had to figure out why it broke down. And this is where the thrill ride begins. What? Okay. Months of analysis and reverse engineering uncovered some extremely interesting conditions written into the software code of various trains supplied by Newegg. After hundreds of hours spent on code dumped from dozens of train sets, it was possible to identify some very interesting mechanism causing the sudden train sickness. Nothing like a good translation article that throws in something like sickness. Nothing like a good sickness right there. The numerical values 53.13845 and 17.99011 found in the computer code seemed familiar at first glance. It soon became apparent that these were GPS coordinates, pointing to the vicinity of another one of these words that no one can pronounce, railway station. Specifically, the Pisa shit railway station, another Polish train producer and maintenance center, site located next to it. Soon, the coordinates of another maintenance center that could carry out train repairs and maintenance in Poland were also found. Below, we show the pseudocode of the algorithm. The names of the variables or functions are given by researchers for clarity. We do not know the original names. Okay. Check. If it's greater than this latitude and this latitude is less than this other location and this long. Okay, so if it's between one of these 7 different points, right? Okay, so there's 7 points. This lock function test. Oh, interesting. There's this one extra one right here. Look at that one. It has a little lock function test. If it has a 1 at the beginning. The coordinate pairs define the workshop areas, a condition that has been written in the computer code to disable the ability to run a train if it spends at least 10 days in one of these workshops. One of the workshops belongs to Newegg itself. But a different logical condition was defined for its coordinates, presumably for testing. Okay, so if I'm just getting what they're saying correctly, if any train is within the vicinity of a repair station for too long, it just locks up. It literally vendor locks in. Okay. That kind of sounds like someone's doing something nefarious here. Other surprises were soon discovered. Amongst them was the blocking of a train when one of its components is replaced, verified by its serial number. An option to undo the lockout was also discovered. This did not require setting a flag at computer memory level, just the right sequence of button clicks in the cab and on the onboard computer screen. I just would like to imagine there's like toggle switches and stuff, and it's just like a series of really weird things happen. When the news of successful launch of the Impulse hit the media, the trains received a software update that removed this fix option. On another train, the code was found instructing it to break down after 1 million kilometers. You Europeans write software so much differently. Okay? You guys write a whole different level of bugs, okay? I'm not used to these Euro bugs. They hit different, okay? They just hit different than our American bugs, okay? Again, what is even a kilometer? What is a magnet? Planned obsolescence. Y'all in a fantasy land if you think code like this isn't in your cars. Ooh, gosh, that is actually really terrifying. Yeah. American bugs do randomly sell all of your data. Okay, it's an oopsie daisy that happens. We accidentally sell all your data. It's different. It feels different, you know? Checking the date is hard. It is hard. A rather funny situation was encountered on another train that refused to work on November 21, 2022. Even though it was not in maintenance at the time. The computer reported that the compressor had failed, although the mechanic said that everything was fine with the compressor. Unfortunately, the train still does not raise the pantographs. I'm not sure what a pantograph is. Analysis of the computer code detected a condition forcing the failure, which sounded like this. If the day is greater than or equal to 21, and the month is greater than or equal to 11, and if the year is greater than 2021, then report a compressor failure. How much do you want to bet this is just some stupid test code that someone did and that they're like, ain't no way this will still be running in 10 years. Don't worry, I'll take out the code. I'll remember this little situation. These Eurobugs, they just hit different. The situation was funny because the train had been scheduled for service on November 21, the year before the breakdown. But the condition did not work then by coincidence. The train went into maintenance a while earlier and was not put back into service until January 2022, and the sophisticated logic condition described above no longer met this date. Sophisticated? There ain't nothing sophisticated by this logic. Presumably, it was the software developer's lack of skill in constructing ifs that made it necessary to wait till the... Skill issue. It's such a skill issue. I'm just letting you know that this developer just lacks the required ability to construct if statements. I have never heard such a brutal. This is the most brutal code review I've ever heard of. You lacked the necessary skill in constructing if statements. There is nothing better than that. This was so good. I like that. I like that a lot. Imagine not even using a proper daytime class. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. All right. Let's keep on going. Other surprises were soon discovered. Among them was the blocking of a train when one of its components is replaced, verified by its serial number. An option to undo the lockout was discovered. This did not require setting flags at the computer memory level, just the right sequence of button clicks in the cab and on the onboard computer screen. When the news of the successful launch of the Impulse hit the media, the trains received... Oh, we already read that. I remember this. We already did this. We already did all that. Here's the skill set. There we go. All right. Skill issue, dude. I am having some serious skill issues going on right now. Hardware surprise. Surprises lurked not only in the software of the computers. In one train set, researchers discovered a device signed as the UDP CAN converter. This sucks. This just sucks. Presumably enabling remote communication with the train. Removing it did not make anything stop working. Analysis showed that the onboard computer was sending lock status information to this device, and that the device itself was connected to a GSM modem. They could just turn it off remotely. Literally just, turn that crap off. The information that the SB... I mean, I guess they don't technically know if they receive it because they went with UDP. Information that the SPS Maintenance Center succeeded in repairing Newegg's broken train set quickly found its way to another company as well. It turned out that it would be quite common problem. In Warklaw, they analyzed 13 impulses, but there were also broken ones running in Koloj, Mazowski, 1, 2 in Opol, 4 in Krakow, and 1 in... Wow, these are Newegg, serially terrible if statement constructors. Serially terrible if statement constructors. 4 in Szczecin and 1 in Warsaw. Fortunately, each was able to repair using the tool developed by our researchers that removes the software locks from the onboard computer. In total, the researchers analyzed the software of 29 trains, and in all but 5, they found surprises beyond the official operating instruction. What's next? Hopefully suing. We leave it to the readers and customers of this company to assess the solutions used by the manufacturer. Interestingly, although there is litigation in the case, it is hard to find the institution in Poland that has done anything beyond kindly expressing interest in the matter. We are not aware of any action taken either by the Office of Consumer and Competition Protection. That is so good. This is such a funny name. We ensure that companies don't do shitty things. But we don't want to touch that one. Or by the Railway Transport Office, which would seem to be competent to eliminate from the market practices that are damaging to local government organizations that are incurring considerable losses and to passengers who are forced to travel in crowds or use substitute transport for months. The only institution that has taken action that we are aware of is CERT, Polska, notified of the discovery by researchers. From the comments we received, it appears that CERT Polska has notified the relevant authorities, and in this case is being handled by law enforcement agencies. Dang. Imagine you were so bad at constructing if statements that you got called, the police got called. You got the police called on you for skill issues. Obviously, it does appear, I mean, it's hard not to think that some of these are malicious. Like to lock a train, crazily lock a train if it's in any area where it can be fixed. This is criminally bad code. Skill police. Call the skill police. Like this is wild. And then the only one that doesn't get borked is the one that happens to be your location. Looks fine, honestly. You got to hit me with why. All right, Proxy Sniper, you got to hit me why. You got to hit me why on this one. You got to tell me that they had these things that just locked down the train, and the only one that didn't lock down the train checked for a testing flag, which was the original creator Newegg's place of fixing. The bad part is, in absence of laws that guarantee that you can't do this sort of thing, I'm not actually sure it's illegal. Yeah, that's fair, honestly. Johnny Moore, thank you for the tier 1. I mean, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. If there is no technical laws against sabotage, which I don't know if there's code-based sabotaging, it feels kind of sabotaging. Illegally if. This if statement is so bad, we're going to call the police. This if statement is so bad, you go to jail. You go straight to jail. Well, you have contractual obligations as a company when selling a product. Yes, but they were able to continue to make the maintenances. So once they weren't the ones making the maintenances, then somebody else had to do it, and maybe they just knew. Maybe they had the super secret manual of all the hacks. Let's see. I'm sure there's an ambiguous law that covers malicious intent. Yeah. Sounds like vendor locking. Yeah, I am personally surprised. You wanted a train? We sold you a train. It worked for 1,000,000 miles, 1,000,000 kilometers. Anyways, that's wild. This is crazy. I'm sure this happens way more frequently than you realize. I'm sure there's a bunch of crazy stuff when it comes to cars and hardware because you can't really inspect it. I'm sure that whatever is wrong here, just imagine all the crap that goes into tracking your data and selling it to advertisers, how much worse it is and how much more disgusting and vile it probably is. I mean, remember, backdoor Wang. Backdoor Wang, fully, he put it all in right in the code in Git. He was committing fraud. Those software locks are for some reason. I sure there are for some reason. Imagine they update the code in each maintenance. Imagine the part that is expiration date. I'm not saying some of them are more clearly malicious, or at least feel more malicious from the just look like this. Saying that your train will just shut down and stop working if you are within any competitor's repair place for more than 10 days. But ours has this extra lock. Like, that just looks a little weird. I'm just saying that I totally get, like, this one right here. This one's funny because this one's clearly not. This one's clearly not an issue. This one clearly is just someone being skill issued out of their mind so bad that they're going to call the police on it. Just in. John Deere buys Newegg. Yeah, John Deere levels of scummery. I don't know anything about John. Wait, if statements cost $5, these ones cost way more than $5 a month. It makes sense to lock, but why after 10 days? And why permanently lock it up? And why not lock it yours? I'm just saying it seems odd. I didn't read till the end? Yeah, it's just a congratulations. And then there's this one. All right, anyways, interesting. I know of a case in which Raytheon had closed down one of their factories for certain parts that were used for some air defense radars when it lost the contract to an Italian competitor who had undercut them during a bid, all the while sourcing the said parts from them, and had to spend a decade to produce replacements. Jeez. Isn't this called protectionism? I'm not sure what this is called. I have a hard time comprehending it because I also don't work in software. Or, I mean, in hardware. I work in software. I literally work in software. I don't work in hardware, and I've never, when I did work in hardware, this just wasn't a thing. I don't work in software. Dude, I'm just literally just an influencer. That's all I am. I'm just an influencer. React sucks. Don't wait. Which one am I supposed to say? I just love C#. I love C#. I'm just a TikTok Andy. I love C#.